Once more into the breach we go. It is time to gird our loins and prepare for battle with Alfie Garford and Joe Cheek on the front row, Kai Springfield and Charlie King on row 2, Liv Jenkins and Harvey Roth on row 3.
Row 4 is Chris Whitten, your championship leader. Alongside him is Luke Jarman. Then it's Ashton Cox and Oliver Bowen, rounding out the top 10. And behind them on row 6, Cian Bennett and Lee Whittingham.
Row number 7, Andrew Platt and Jessica Fitch-Hall. Then Spencer Lane and Aaron Lask, who both retired from the pre-final. And Michael Cornell, penalty after the pre-final. He starts shotgun on the field. Now, I spoke to Aaron Lask, who had a mechanical failure. He said, oh, now, what is Joe Cheek doing? What? He's gone out a little bit fast. He's now got to wait for everybody else to close in. And pole sitter Alfie Garford is just going at his own pace. And Alfie Garford's a little bit slow to get up to speed. This is a slow rolling lap, it has to be said. And Joe Cheek is saying, I don't want to slow down too much and oil up. Come on, Alfie, get with the program. They come into the start line. Lights are out. We're off and racing once again at Shenington. Garford leads the TKM Extreme field into Cafe Corner, and we're all round cleanly.
Well, they were 3 wide in the middle of the corner there. I wasn't sure if they were all going to make it around cleanly, but they do. Brilliant start from our TKM Extreme field, and a brilliant start, as you say, from Alfie Garford. Takes the lead early on here from that pole position, and already starting to try and push on ahead. The number 1, though, in the middle of the pack, is that Chris Whitten getting involved in some battling down into the Bruno chicane. They all make it through nonetheless, though, and it's already kicking off here. Of course, a 15-minute final, our last one of the day. Let's see how this one plays out.
Yes, it's a good, clean start from our pole sitter, Alfie Garford. Across the line, the Wera Tool sponsored driver, Kai Springfield, looking for a career best finish. A second place finish would do that. Whitten and there's a driver in the air. 4 wheels lift off. That was number 18. That was Luke Jarman taking flight. He's obviously decided he's looked at the gliders next door. I think I fancy a bit of that. And not in your go-kart, son, not in your go-kart. Now, we didn't come here in 2020. But 2019, James Pashley won both finals as a privateer. Pashley won again in 21 as a privateer, and Chris Whitten won as a privateer last year. So that's 4 finals in 2019, 2021, 2022, and privateers have won them all. And do you know what? We've got privateers running 1 and 2 at the moment, Garford and Springfield. Roth, King, Jenkins, Bennett, and Lee Whittingham has already gained 5 places. He's up to 7th. The top 6 are breaking clear, with championship leader Charlie King still there in 4th place. But at the moment, can tell you that Alfie Garford has taken the lead of the championship. 540 points, 3 points in front of Charlie King, with Lee Whittingham 3rd on 516, Chris Whitten 4th on 498. Long way to go, though.
Indeed, yeah. I assume that the other person involved in that incident with Luke Jarman must have been Joe Cheek, dropped down 14 places, and now is a good couple of seconds off the back of Jessica Fitch-Hall. So not sure if he was involved in that or something else. Either way, start of this race has not gone well for Joe Cheek. Really in complete opposite to how it was in the pre-final. He had such a great race.
Yep, down, he's dropped from and he's he's actually not in touch with the main pack either. So, Luke Jarman and Joe Cheek at the back of the field in 17th and 16th place. Michael Cornell has gone from 17th to 11th. You can see him, but here's the main sort of chasing group. That is Aaron Lask, who's gone off like a scalded cat. He is the lead driver in this group of karts. You're looking at 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. That was Lask, Lane, Whittingham, Bowen and Cornell. Whitten, who I think was involved in that Jarman incident as well, he is down, is the number 1 plate kart, you can see, down in 12th place. But it's Alfie Garford with those, once again, wearing those lovely Wera T-shirts that he and his dad Simon have been modelling.
Definitely my favourite I've ever seen, I think.
One of, yes. I mean, my OSB Motorsport one from 1999 was spectacular, but But anyway, I digress. Alfie Garford doing the business on the track. Springfield is 0.2 of a second behind him in P2. They've got a half-second advantage over Roth in third, and then another 0.3 back to King in fourth. Behind King is a 1.2-second gap back to Cian Bennett and Liv Jenkins, who dispute fifth position, and then behind Jenkins a 1.9-second gap back to Spencer Lane in seventh.
Yeah, we saw Aaron last pointing forward after he'd made a little overtake. Actually, it was on Spencer Lane, but Spencer Lane has re-overtaken him for seventh. Both Spencer and Aaron both having a great race.
And that's what every driver does. They overtake, and then they tap their helmets to say,
let's work together.
And now follow me.
And then he got re-overtaken.
Yeah, and they say, well, I was, but then Spencer Lane said, well, I was quite happy to lead you. Why didn't you think and follow me? And then they argue about it, and then they battle, and then the people they were trying to catch pull away.
Yeah.
But we've got to get, it's game on at the front. It's a three-car battle for the race lead. Garford in the 88, Springfield in 97, and Roth, the Oak Plate champion.
Yeah, and Charlie King's really not that far off either, is he? So any sort of battling between these three, he's going to be right on them, on the carts with them as well, getting involved with the battle nearer the end of this race. Of course, the top three doing the smart thing at the moment, not battling, but this is the first time we've seen Harvey Roth close onto the back of these front two. He checks over his shoulder, sees that maybe he doesn't have too much gap between himself and Charlie King, so maybe he might be the aggressor to start off this battle initially and say, okay, well, I want to be involved in this train to push forward, but I don't want to be at the back of it.
Yeah, and so Charlie King, again, he's now lost the championship lead. Whether he's aware of this or not, but again, he led coming into today, and you saw him being a little bit cautious. It's almost
he
changed.
had a good exit.
Now he's sort of like that. So he's got to go back to what he was doing. What got him to this point? Change for second place. There goes Kai Springfield. There goes Harvey Roth in front of Kai Springfield. So Charlie's got to remember, what got him to the championship lead? Well, combination of speed, cleverness, and aggression. So this morning we saw the aggression dip, and as a result, the speed also dipped a little bit. Now he's got to get his head down. It's a learning experience. First time that Charlie has led a British Championship in terms of overall picture. Now he has to start, really kind of, remembering, okay, whether I lead the championship or I'm second in the championship, I've got to drive the same way. I mean, his life guru, Colin, would have told him this, but maybe got lost in translation. But Harvey Roth, side by side for the race lead. Harvey, he's won 3 rounds of the British Championship, 2 at Wilton Mill and 1 at PFI. Has he? Let's have a little look. The old plate holder, yeah.
He's got a good exit. Down the inside he goes, takes the lead of the race, going to try and follow through. Is the 97 of Kai Springfield. They're still going to be side by side on exit, but no. Has to feed back into third, so Harvey Garford down to second.
So 2 privateers sandwiched by 1 Tim Wilson Motorsport kart and 1 Klassen Motorsports kart. Oof. Then the gap is 2.1 seconds back to Cian Bennett in the number 44. Cian for the Rob Saw racing team, and Kai Springfield fights back to take second position. Garford, former race leader, now finds himself under attack from championship leader Charlie King. And could that be Garford off the podium? Not yet. 8 minutes to go, John.
That defensive move was how he lost his position for the lead, though, earlier on. Could it mean why he loses out for third as well? No, Charlie King not quite getting a good exit, a good enough exit, I should say, off of Cafe Corner to make that move work down into the Stratford hairpin. Sits behind in fourth for now once more. They're all settling into it once again, so maybe we'll see it settle down again, work together for a little bit longer, and then maybe someone becomes an aggressor again and it all kicks off. But it's still Harvey Roth on the O plate with that fastest lap of the race, a 45.47. The other drivers aren't particularly far off, though. Kai Springfield behind, a 45.50, 300ths of a second slower on that fastest lap. So still working together nicely. And they've not got that far. You were saying back to Cian Bennett and Liv Jenkins right there with him as well. So if this battle kicks off, still got 7 minutes to go. We could very much see this become from a 4-way battle to a 6-way battle, maybe even more. Look at that pack behind.
You've got so you've got Cian Bennett and Liv Jenkins running in tandem in 5th and 6th, and then Whitton is now back to 7th, and between Whitton in 7th and Lee Whittingham in 13th place, there are 2.1 seconds. So that is Whitton, Lask, Cornell, Bowen, Cox, Lane and Whittingham covered by 2 seconds. Lee Whittingham in the number 10 kart. Again, I have to stress to the viewers at home, coming up in the next week or so on the Motorsport UK YouTube channel, we're running a feature called Lee Whittingham Racing for Heather, and I would advise you all to check it out in the next week or so on Motorsport UK YouTube channel, but it looks as though Lee Whittingham, he's dropped about 9/10 of a second off the back of Spencer Lane, which tells me that maybe all is not well with the wagon.
No, indeed.
The Whittingham wagon is not rolling as well as Lee would like it to.
No, he was really fast yesterday, wasn't he? He took
in
the
the
win,
wet.
didn't he? Yeah, in
Yep.
the wet conditions, but again, coming into the dry today, he's just not been quite there, has he, Lee? He's been there and thereabouts, but just not quite at the position where he definitely would want to be up
Now,
near the sharp end of the grid.
A few minutes ago, whilst Alfie Garford was leading, I told you that Alfie Garford had taken the championship lead. Now that Alfie Garford has dropped back to third position, Charlie King has the championship lead back with 537 points, just 2 points in front of Garford. So King stays in fourth, and Garford stays in third. King will maintain the championship lead. If King stays fourth and Garford moves up to second, I believe it's a tie for the championship lead, or a 1 point advantage to King. There is the number 70 Kart of Joe Cheek. So after that poor start, he's picking them off one at a time. There's Jessica Fitch Hall in kart number 14, the Rob Saw Racing driver, and she is chasing Andrew Platt. Andrew Platt, in turn, is trying to hunt down Luke Jarman, with Joe Cheek in 14th position. So all 17 drivers that started this race are still running. Haspy on the live chat saying Roth taking them all with the O plate. That is, well, potentially true. He's got 4.5 minutes to go, and he's got Kai Springfield, Alfie Garford, and Charlie King sitting right on his rear bumper.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time for this to change. Of course, we saw earlier on, only needs one move, maybe one little mistake, and it all kicks off, and suddenly the positions are chopping and changing once more. But like you were saying, with Jarman, Platt, and Fitchall, great to see as well. Doesn't matter where you are, up and down the field, the driver's still getting a really good battle. So fantastic to see between Jarman, Platt, and Fitchall there over 15th, 16th, and 17th. And Joe Cheek, now that bridge between themselves and Lee Whittingham in 13th. Joe in a bit of no man's land after that crash, but clearly hasn't lost any pace out there, has Joe, as he closes in on Lee Whittingham for 13th place. But we continue to watch these three at the front. They've gapped Charlie King by somewhat now, about 0.6 of a second between Garford and King. So King just hasn't quite been able to hold on to the back. Of course, he was gifted the chance of being involved in that battle by the battling going on ahead of him. However, after that sort of calmed down and they've all stuck nose to tail for the last number of laps, he's now just dropped off ever so slightly.
Yeah, Alfie Garford, his only British Championship win was as a junior last year. He came back to junior TKM last year, so he hasn't won in seniors. Kai Springfield finished second at Kimbolton in 2021, and then third in the opening round. His last podium was a year ago at this circuit for Kai Springfield. So this would equal, if things finished as they are, this would equal Springfield's career best. I'm looking at, actually, looking at, hard to believe that Alfie Garford hasn't finished on the podium of a TKM Extreme final. He's in his first full season as a senior, and 3 rounds in, he is not on the British Championship podium in this class. He does, however, have the championship within striking distance, and Alfie Garford won the 2021 Junior British title without winning a final. Now it's game on. 2.5 minutes to go. Roth begins to defend. Garford swings out to try and look underneath Kai Springfield. Does he make the move stick? Not quite, going into the Bruno chicane. This is going to give Charlie King maybe one more chance to get back onto the podium. But it's Roth, Springfield and Garford, 1, 2, 3, with a slight gap back to King, and then a 4-second gap back to Bennett. And Whitton, who has passed Liv Jenkins, has dropped back to 8th place. Chris Whitton up into P6 after dropping to about 14th place earlier on.
Indeed, yeah, still lots of chopping and changing going on. Michael Cornell overtaking Liv Jenkins there for 8th place on the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen. It's definitely not over yet as we head into the last couple of minutes of this race. Big bit of defensive move.
Oh, yeah, that was
a little bit of rubbing.
Robbins Racington, Garford. Now look at Charlie King communicating with Garford. Garford was sort of coming across to take the race line. He realised at the last minute that Kai Springfield already put his go-kart on there. Now Harvey Roth giving us a, why are we shouting this? You don't need to be an international translator to understand those hand gestures, and I'm not quite sure what precipitated that, because it looked as though Roth and Springfield were minding their own business. And now, I think what Kai Springfield is saying is that he thinks that Harvey Roth is beginning to defend too early.
Yes.
And that has now brought
exactly
everyone into play. But Harvey Ross thinking, well, look, it's a 15-minute race. I've waited the final 2 minutes. Now I'm going to park it on the white line and defend.
It's understandable. Wants to hold on to the lead of the race. You're going to do everything.
Understandable, yeah. Harvey in the championship is 6th at the moment. So, yes, and it is... we're going to defend for all we're worth. Look at King there now in 4th position, right with them. And... King's going to take a wide line into Wilkins. He's going to get a great run, is Charlie King. The problem is there's 3 karts in his way, slowing him down.
Yeah, not ideal. He had a great exit, didn't he? But all he could do was bump the back of Alfie Garford ahead. Nowhere else he could go. There was literally no other track for him to place the car. He's got a great exit out of Cafe as well. Drives it around the outside there of Pit Bend, not able to do anything. And again, Harvey Roth is going to be defensive into Stratford Hairpin. They all stay as they are, but timer is about to tick to 0. We're on the penultimate lap of the race. This could all still change.
It could indeed. Cian Bennett runs 5th. Lask is 6th, Witten 7th, followed by Cornell, Jakins, Bowen, Cox, Lane, Whittingham, Cheek, Jarman, Fitchall and Platt. But all eyes are on the top 4. Harvey Roth, Tim Wilson Motorsport, Kai Springfield and Alfie Garford as privateers, with Charlie King for Classen Motorsport in 4th position. Last lap at Shenington for the TKM Extremes into Park Bend, around Cafe Corner. Underneath us in the commentary box one more time. John, take them down to the last half a lap.
What a brilliant battle this has been all race. To the outside goes the number 6 of Charlie King. He's tried that at seemingly every corner for the last 2 minutes. It's just not quite worked. He's been able to get a good exit, but not been able to use it. Harvey Roth still holding on to the lead then, and Kai Springfield continuing to pressure. We saw those angry hand gestures earlier on in the race, but it hasn't accounted for anything. The 97 of Kai Springfield hasn't been able to find a way past. There's only really one more opportunity here. Down into Wilkins. They're going to be heavy on the brakes, and Harvey Roth still holds that inside line. He's got a good exit. It looks like it is going to be Harvey Roth, and he moves to the outside. It's going to be side by side across the line, and just Harvey Roth gets it. 0.07 across the line, with Kai Springfield in 2nd and Alfie Garford rounding out the podium.
Win number 4 for Harvey Roth, matching his career best finish for Kai Springfield, and a first TKM Extreme Wera Tools British Championship podium for the Wera Tools sponsored driver Alfie Garford. Championship leader Charlie King finishes 4th and holds on to the championship lead by just 2 points. The 4 dropped scores. A great recovery for Chris Witten in 5th, and Aaron Lask, who said we've been no higher than 14th all weekend. Maybe it'll all come good for the final, and it did. In like 6th position, with Cian Bennett, the leading Rob Saw racing driver, home in 7th. Michael Cornell in 8th, followed by Oliver Bowen and Liv Jakins rounding out your top 10. Ashton Cox, Spencer Lane, Lee Whittingham and Joe Cheek, the top 14 finishers, and everybody made it home after 21 laps. Luke Jarman, Andrew Platt and Jessica Fitch Hall. Well, Tim Wilson Motorsport have broken a British Championship record here. They become the first non-privateer driver, non-privateer entry to win a final in TKM Extreme at Shenington. As the sun shines and the Union flag flutters in the breeze, you drive to Shenington through the Cotswolds and around the lovely bit of countryside. For the final time today, we will hand over to Lucy Derrick, who will have our race winner, Harvey Roth, with her down in the pits.
You guys, what a brilliantly close race that was, especially between the top 3. And I have P1 here, Harvey Roth. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was a really good race. We started in 6th, so to get up the places early was really good for us. And then we were chasing down the 2 leaders. They had a bit of a gap for us for a while, but we managed to close it, pick them both off, and then just fight out the front by ourselves.
Brilliant. Was there any specific highlights for you?
I don't know, defending for about 4 laps from about a kart train of about 6 people. It's pretty tough, but we managed to pull it off, which I'm happy about. It's good championship points.
Yeah, it looked like a difficult task to keep them off your back. Yeah, as you say, it's a brilliant championship point. Should put you in a brilliant position to fight for the rest of the championship. Are you feeling good going into the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, Wilton Mill is probably my best track. I've won there 2 years in a row now, so I'll try and make it 3 to score some even more points. And we've never been to Wera, but I'm pretty confident we'll pick it up nicely and score some good points there and hopefully take home the win.
Brilliant. It's lovely to talk to you. Is there anyone you want to thank at all?
Yeah, big thank you to Tim Wilson, first off, Will Thomas for helping me all weekend, being supportive, my dad for being perfect on the spanners yet again, my sponsor M2 Computing, and all my friends and family that are watching and supporting me.
Brilliant. Lovely to chat to you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Great race from the all the top 3. So now we've got Kai Springfield, P2. What a race!
Yeah.
Are you impressed with your performance or not so much?
Yeah, I mean, I knew, I was setting fastest laps earlier in the day. I knew I had the pace to be somewhere in there, but this track's so hard. It's like the lap speed's only just a little part of it. Had a good start, to be honest. Broke away against Garford. So I was thinking I'll push him as much as I can. Roth then took the lead. I thought I'll push him as far as I can, thinking I can do all I can to try and get us separated from the rest of the pack. And yeah, luckily managed to hold it on with 2 minutes to go, so came second. Yeah.
Brilliant. So are you looking at the championship now, kind of looking at the points rather than making big lunges, or?
In all the time I've been doing it, I think this year I'm not even looking at it now. I'm just going to concentrate on each round as it comes, not get too hung up on the points. But yeah, I'm trying to. It's like for that race, I was thinking I'm quite happy with second on the championship perspective, and yeah, just hopefully puts me up the table a little bit.
Brilliant. Well, what a race! Glad you enjoyed it so much.
Yes.
So we're now looking for Alfie Garford. Here you are. Come on down. P3. Did you enjoy that race? How was it for you?
It was long, tiring, enjoyable as it always is. It was a good race, but kind of didn't really lacking a bit of pace towards the end. So just tried to stick in the fight and try and hopefully pick up a few more positions. But third's still a good finish, ready for the rest of the championship.
Cool. As you say, it's a long race. Does that change your strategy at all going into it?
Tyre pressures and stuff, and trying not to let the kart slow down towards the end. Maybe we could have done a bit of a better job at that, but still third place is a very good result.
Yeah, it's a mega result. So any highlights specifically for you throughout that race?
It's a long race,
remember, isn't it? Yeah.
Start was good. I had a few laps at the front in my own air, and then the pack started to catch up. But it's been a good day today for us.
Yeah. Looked like a difficult start. Is there anyone you want to thank at all?
I'd like to thank Wera Tools, supporting us, helping my dad with sponsorship and getting us out here racing. Next Space dash cams, they help us out this year for entries to the British Championships, and Motorbase British Touring Car team, they help us out a lot with me learning different aspects of racing.
Brilliant. It's been lovely to talk to you. Congratulations on the
you.
P3. Well, that's it from me today, so I'm going to head you back to the comms box.
Thank you very much, Lucy, and well done. I think it was that role was thrust upon her at the very last minute. So well done. Thank you very much for helping there and doing a great job, John Ratcliffe. It's been another storming day here at Shenington, but without the stormy weather that we had yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, we now get the podium presentation underway for the 5th round of the Wera Tools British Kart Championship Event 5, Round 3 for TKM Extreme here at Shenington, and 0.15 seconds separating the top 3 drivers at the end of a truly thrilling race. But finishing in 3rd position, he's a former junior champion. This is actually his first podium as a senior driver. It's Alfie Garford. That's right, 3 fingers. No, yeah, just make sure it's 3 fingers, Alfie. Okay, now we move on to 2nd position, and this driver matches his career best performance in the modern era of the British Championship, and he finishes as the leading privateer. It's Kai Springfield. Our winner today, making a little bit of history, because every single TKM Extreme final held in the modern era of the British Championship has been won by a privateer driver. But Tim Wilson Motorsport have now broken that trend with his 4th overall Wera Tools British Championship victory. For Tim Wilson Motorsport, it's Harvey Roff and winning mechanic Greg Roff. The O-Plate winner, and now 4 times a winner in the Wera Tools British Championship. It's all down to the dossier of information that Greg provides us with at the start of every season. So Tim Wilson Motorsport take another victory. We'll have a photo with winning driver and mechanic, and then driver on his own. Congratulations, your TKM Extreme podium, ladies and gentlemen.